You ever see one of those videos where people are having an absolute meltdown in the airport or on a plane and wonder, I wonder what Kelsey would do about this? Well, at the risk of getting canceled, which if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in this series, I figured let's find out what I think.
She has called me names and insulted me just for sitting down in the seat saying that I came here to celebrate today.
Is there going to be a problem?
I would like for him to change seats with someone.
No, I'm going to get somebody. Well, you don't have that right. So I will get somebody from the top.
You pretend you have the moral high ground, but you put that man's finger on the nape of your head. That man doesn't believe in climate change. Do you believe in gravity? Did you know gravity is just a theory?
Well, I'm about 10 seconds in and I'm regretting it anyways. Okay, so this type of lady is not the type of lady that anyone wants to sit next to. Because regardless of your political views, this is just not how you act with people in public, especially on an aircraft. So from what I can gather, this guy is wearing a shirt or a hat or something that's political, and this lady doesn't like it. Now, while as a passenger, you're allowed to wear clothes that have your political affiliation on them, I've started to see sometimes crew members doing that, and I don't like that because now you're creating a dynamic where the customer and the crew member it's creating a tension, right? Now, as a passenger, he's a paying customer. He can wear whatever shirt that he wants because he's representing himself, so he can go ahead and do that. This lady obviously doesn't like that. And I see people wearing things that I don't personally like, but I just sit there and shut my mouth because when you're riding on a plane, you're going to be riding with a bunch of other people, and not everybody has to agree with what you believe in. And to my high school teachers, if you can believe that me, of all people, is teaching how to behave in public and have manners, I'm just as shocked as you are. Really where it becomes a problem is right here, where the flight attendant goes and asks her if there's going to be a problem.
Is there going to be a problem?
And if you're wondering what the right answer is here, surprise, it's no. We're not going to have any problems, ma'am. That's the right answer. But she says,
I would like for him to change seats with someone.
now this is never going to work because unlike what goes on now in society where it's okay to throw a temper tantrum and you're able to do whatever you want and nobody can enforce anything, on a plane that's not how it works. At the end of the day, you as a pilot have the responsibility to make sound judgment for the safety of flight. And any type of person that's going to be a distraction or inhibiting a crew member's ability to do their job or anything that's going to make the flight dangerous anyway, you can remove them. Apparently in society that's not acceptable anymore, but on an airplane it still is. At the end of the day, we are the judge and jury. So it's great for me because as a police officer, if I was a police officer, I could never do it. The way some people treat police officers blows my mind. But on an airplane, you can't come on the plane and start acting stupid and then go like, okay, well now take me to my destination. That's just not how it works. Now we have a bunch of rules that we have to follow when we're flying, and it's a massive responsibility to get people safely to their destination, which is our #1 priority. But one of the rules that protects crew members is this. It says here under this flight rule, no person may assault, threaten, intimidate, or interfere with a crew member in the performance of the crew member's duties aboard an aircraft being operated under this part. And basically what that means is that you as a passenger can't do anything that interrupts what any crew member is doing, pilot or flight attendant. The thing is that people get on planes and they feel like they can treat flight attendants in a really bad way. Now, anybody that's flown with me knows that I don't tolerate that at all. There's a lot of flight attendants, especially back in the regional days, that love to fly with me because people would get on the plane, get snarky, and if I heard it, I get snarky back. And luckily, I'm pretty snarky. And the people understand like, that isn't going to work out well for them. And so they usually sit down and they get in their seat, and then we go to the destination because they know if they get snarky back with me, that it's not going to result in them getting where they want to go, because at the end of the day, that is unnecessary. There was a case where somebody got on a flight where they were late and the flight was delayed, and so they were all upset, and I heard him get snarky with the flight attendant. I told the story a while back, and I got snarky back with him, and I basically said, we're going to leave when everybody gets in their seat and puts on their seatbelt, then we're going to go. He realized like, this flight attendant has nothing to do with this flight being delayed. There's no reason to be snarky with her, and that if he kept getting snarky with me, he would be sitting here and he wouldn't be going to his destination. It's not necessary. My guess is, by the way this lady is talking to this guy, she's also not going to her destination. Let's see what happens.
You grab your belongings when you come.
Right.
We're gonna have to take you off this plane. We're gonna have to take you off this plane right there. Can you grab your belongings and come, please? Please. Can you grab your belongings and come? Max,
I paid for this seat and I'm sitting. He is in my space.
If this ever happens to you where they said, go ahead and grab your stuff and get off the plane, there's no negotiation. The party's over. Go ahead and grab your stuff, because now all you're going to do is make it worse. You're going to delay the other people. You're going to turn an entire plane of people against you. They're going to start clapping when you leave or booing at you. It's extremely uncomfortable, yet some people don't seem to care. At this stage, when that gate agent comes down, the decision's already been made, either from the flight crew or from the airline, or somebody has made that decision. It's over, yet people seem to want to put up a fight thinking they're going to negotiate their way out of it, and it's never going to happen. The problem is that airlines have not punished this behavior and they've allowed it to go on. Obviously, I have a different opinion of the way that I would handle it if I was running the airline, but this is what she thinks she's going to do. She's going to negotiate her way out of it. It's not going to happen. Now, even after she says this guy remains very calm about the whole thing and is doing a great job trying to de-escalate the situation. I don't have that level of patience, but this guy clearly does. Now I'll save you the minutes of your life when we skip to part 4 of this video and she finally gets off the plane and starts shaming some of the people around her. Because of course it's their fault that she can't control her emotions. And then everyone claps. She turned the entire plane against her. Now, of course, I know the comment section are going to say, well, Kelsey, she just lost her mother-in-law, or her mother-in-law. Her husband's mother just passed away and was having a traumatic experience, and I'm sorry for her loss, but at the end of the day, when you go into a shared space with a bunch of different people, like an airplane, you just have to behave. Doesn't matter what's going on. I fly on planes all the time. And there are times where I get on planes that I don't want to be getting on the plane. I'm tired. Maybe I've been up all night. I'm grumpy and I haven't had any snacks and I do not want to be there. And then for whatever reason, for whatever the circumstance is, I ended up getting a middle seat between two enormous Texas-sized men, and they don't have any choice, but their bodies are overflowing into the center pedestal area where I want to rest my arms, and I just begrudgingly sit there for 2 hours and I grit my teeth, because that is what you do when you sign up to get onto an airplane. You just have to behave around other people regardless of what's going on, but yet some people have not learned that lesson. I don't know, they're probably going to give her a different flight and put her on a different flight, and if she behaves better, which I'm guessing she will, because now she doesn't want to have that happen again, but there really should be punishments, I think, for people when they can't behave well on airplanes. Let's see what's next. So it looks kind of like this guy's wanting to get up to use the restroom, I guess, and that guy sitting there is just like taking all of his time, which is why I personally like to sit in the aisle, because when I want to get up, I just want to get up. I don't want to ask people. But you have a responsibility if you're sitting in the aisle seat there. If you see people start doing things that indicate they're packing up to get ready to go, that means that they're probably going to get up to go to the bathroom, which means you should start getting your stuff together. That's just kind of, I don't know how, it's not like I have some sixth sense, but I can see when people are kind of like putting up their tray table, putting stuff away, they're starting to do things to indicate they want to get up. That is when you, noticing that, unless of course you're sleeping or something, but you should start getting your stuff together, because that's just, these are small little seats. If you want to fly in a private jet, then you don't have to ever get up. But when you're riding and you're paying $137 to fly from Boston to LA, then you just realize that you see that person packing up their stuff, then it's time to get your stuff out of the way so they can go to the bathroom. Now, I've had people where I didn't even notice that was happening, and they tap you on the shoulder, and it's just like an immediate, like as quickly as I can get up, even if I have my computer and music and my phone out, I just quickly get up and get into the aisle so they can get to the bathroom. That's what you're supposed to do. This guy seems like he's on like the slow boat, just taking his time, which, I don't know, it's kind of rude but let's see what happens next.
What are you doing, man?
Touch me again.
Oh, you'll touch me.
Touch me,
You'll
mom.
What's your problem?
Watch your mouth.
Okay, yeah, I was totally wrong on that. That guy just wants to get into the aisle. The plane looks like it's already landed. People are trying to get off the plane. I don't know where this guy's in a hurry. He's clearly in like row 40, and he thinks he's gonna get off the plane 4 seconds earlier by stepping over this guy he's taking his time to pack up his stuff, but you're not going anywhere. I've seen people do this, and I've had people try to do this and get past me when I'm in uniform. I travel most of the time in uniform. I had this not that long ago. I was getting my bag from the overhead, and a guy tried to like push past me, and I just pushed back and I go, no. And he just like stopped and realized like, yeah, where are you going? Like, all of us are gonna get off the plane together. You get off the plane based off of the row that you're in. You're not special. Sorry, what your mom told you is a lie. You don't have the right to be pushing past people or stepping over them in order for you to get off the plane 4 seconds earlier. People up on row 2, I would be like shocked if somebody in row 2 did this to get past me. It takes time. Once you park, turn off the seatbelt sign, the gate agent has to come down and bring the gate to the jet bridge to the door. They got to do all the door thing. They got to talk to each other. There's so much time. There's no reason to get over somebody or put your butt in somebody's face in a situation like this, unless it's an emergency. Now, like if the plane's on fire, yeah, do whatever you want to do. Jump over that guy, be on your way, but you're not going anywhere. That makes no sense and is totally rude. And then he's got this guy in a vulnerable position because the guy who's sitting down, this guy is talking in an aggressive way after he made that move to step over him. That's not the best time to be in a fight. You're sitting, and that guy looks like he's ready to fight over this guy not getting out of his seat fast enough. And even if that guy had gotten out of his seat and had gotten in the aisle, this guy wouldn't have really gotten anywhere. He still would have been in the seat. You can only fit so many people in the aisle. Doesn't make any sense. For me, if I'm the guy that's sitting down here and I just paid my $37 as well, and this guy has got his butt in my face, that's not cool at all. Now, I sped up the next 3 minutes here, but you can see 3 minutes later, he has gained nothing, he has moved nowhere forward, and he's about to get off the plane 4 seconds earlier. As the saying goes, you get the behavior that you reward. And if you don't punish bad behavior, then behavior gets more out of control. And what I've noticed in the last few years is there's this type of behavior that's happening right now on airplanes that's totally unacceptable. If you want my opinion, if I was king of the world or king of the airlines, I would start putting these types of people that are doing things like this, and I would put some type of penalty on them. 6 months or a year. You can't fly on any airline because you can't behave yourself. And that applies to the lady in the earlier clip as well. Because if you start penalizing people, penalizing bad behavior, you will get less bad behavior. If you start allowing people to just keep pushing the limits and throwing temper tantrums on planes, then you're going to get more temper tantrums on planes. I don't know why this is such a complicated concept for people to get, but nobody's enforcing this where they're penalizing people for bad behavior. So you either got to reward the behavior that you want, it's kind of hard, like thanks for being a normal human, or you have to penalize the bad behavior, like climbing over people or getting in their face or telling the flight attendant, yeah, we're going to have a problem. Those are all things that in my mind need to be penalized, but I'm not king of all airlines, so I'll just keep flying my plane. But that type of behavior is going to get you kicked off a plane, and I think there will come a point where things have escalated so much that airlines are going to start penalizing people, where you're going to have like 6 months you're not allowed to fly on any airline. I think it will come to that because it's gotten so out of control on some of these planes. Because just like this lady got asked if there's going to be a problem, her answer was yes. What that tells me as a crew member is you're not in control of your emotions, and what's going on in your personal life does not matter. We don't care. You're here on the plane as a guest. You don't have the right, you didn't buy that seat, you don't own it. You're there as a guest, which means you should behave like a guest in someone else's house or in their office. Yet people come onto airplanes, they take their shoes and socks off and put their feet up on the wall like they're at their own gross apartment. I don't really understand. So when you get onto an airplane, think of it like you're a guest in somebody's house. Show up there, be polite, and treat people with respect. And if someone says, hey, are we going to have a problem? Your answer is, no, ma'am, we're not going to have a problem. and then you're going to sit there quietly and grit your teeth for the next 4 hours as you fly across the US to wherever it is you want to go, and then you can go be grumpy there. That's just the only way I see it. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, keep the blue side up.